Hello, scholars. This is Miss Edwards. Welcome to Lesson 5.1, Intro to Congruency. Today we're going to talk about what makes triangles congruent and also how to write congruency statements and mark up a diagram. So let's dive in with what makes triangles congruent. Just to remind you what congruent means, it just means same size, same shape. So if all the corresponding parts of two triangles are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. Let's look at the angles first. This first angle, angle A, has one swoop. So over here in the second triangle, angle X also has one swoop. So we know they're congruent. So angle A is congruent to angle X. We know that because they both have one swoop. Now angle B has two swoops on this triangle. And over here, angle Y has two swoops. So angle B and angle Y are congruent. We know that's because they both have two swoops. And lastly, angle C has three swoops. So does angle Z. So that means angle C and angle Z are congruent because they both have three swoops. So how to know that the angles are congruent? You're just going to count the number of swoops. If they have the same amount, they are congruent to each other. They are equal to each other. Now let's look at the sides. So side AB, this side right here, has one tick mark. Side XY also has one tick mark. So those are congruent. Side BC, right, has two tick marks. Side YZ has two tick marks. So side BC and YZ are congruent because they both have two of those little tick marks there. And then the last side is AC. So AC has three tick marks. XZ has three tick marks. So they are congruent to each other. They both have three. So for the sides of the triangle, of the two triangles, we're going to count the number of tick marks. That shows us that if it's whether it's congruent or not. So if all three angles and all three sides are congruent, then we can form this congruency statement, which is right here, saying that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ. So let's look at the examples, which is basically we're going to be naming the corresponding angles or sides. So kind of looking at this information up here, and they're actually going to give us a congruency statement so we can actually look at the corresponding part. So for number 1A, it says that triangle CBA is congruent to triangle WXY. So what is angle A congruent to? Or what's the corresponding angle to angle A? So angle A is right here, and it's got three swoops on it. So I'm going to look on the second triangle. Which one in the second triangle has three swoops? That would be angle Y. So that's my answer, angle Y. For 1B, it says triangle FGE is congruent to triangle DCB. So side FG is congruent to which side on the second triangle. So FG, this side right here, has one tick mark. So I look on the second triangle, which side has one tick mark? That would be DC. So I'm going to write DC with the line above it, line segment, and that is my answer. So the order of the letters does matter. FG is going from one swoop to two swoops. So we want to go from D to C over here, 1 to 2 over here. So now go ahead and pause the video. You're going to try 2A and 2B by yourself. Then I'm going to come back and share with you my answer. So go ahead and try it now. All right, hopefully you paused the video and you tried the 2A and 2B by yourself. So for 2A, triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle PQR. So what is angle Z corresponding to, or what is that congruent to? So angle Z is right here. It's got three swoops. So it just happens to also have three swoops, like letter or 1A. But it can have 1, 2, or 3 swoops. And so I'm going to look on the second triangle, which one has three, and that would be angle R. So that's my answer, angle R. And now for a letter B, triangle CBA is congruent to triangle LMN. So AC is congruent to which side on the other one? So AC is right here. AC has 3 tick marks. So I look on the second triangle, which one has 3? And that would be LN. Or let's look at the order. So AC is 3 to 1. So we actually want to do NL. NL is my answer. So any questions about that, you can always pause the video and come find me. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next, or the back side, which is congruency statements. So it says, write a statement that indicates that the triangles in each pair are congruent. In order to write this, it says, line up the corresponding parts and sides. The most simple way to do this is to always start with the angle with one swoop. Then go to 2, then go to 3, and then repeat with a second triangle. So it's saying that this is the answer, but let's see how. So I'm going to start with my left triangle. The one with the angle with one swoop is J. So that's why you're starting with J right here. Then a second or 2 swoops is I. Then 3 swoops is H. So JIH, that's the first triangle right here. Then you put the congruency symbol. And then you're going to do the same thing over here. So L has 1, then M has 2, N has 3. So 1, 2, 3, L, M, N. And that's your congruency statement. So let's look at example number 3 and go ahead and do it with this one. So where it says, write a statement that indicates that the triangles in each pair are congruent. So again, we're writing the congruency statement. So let's start with the left triangle. So which one has 1 swoop? That would be V. So we're going to do triangle V. 2 swoops is U, so U, and then 3 swoops is T. So triangle VUT, then put the congruency symbol. That's a little equal sign with a little swoosh above it. Then another triangle symbol, and then go from 1, 2, 3. So FGH. And that's my answer for number 3. So go ahead and pause the video, try number 4 by yourself. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my answer to number 4. So I'm going to start with this triangle to the left. That would be CDE. And that is congruent to triangle. And then in order, 1, 2, 3. So JIH. All right. So now our last part are the drawing, the marking the diagram. So it says mark the angles and sides of each pair of triangles to indicate that they are congruent. So we're actually going to kind of go same concept, just kind of like in reverse, right? So we know the statement, so we know the order of the swoops. So it says E, F, G. So I'm going to start with 1 swoop on E. And then F is going to have 2 swoops. And then G is going to have 3. All right, let's go over to the right one. So W is going to have 1. X is going to have 2. And Y is going to have 3. So again, how we're doing this or why we're doing this is because it's saying EFG, that triangle is congruent to WXY. The order of the letters matter. So E has to match up with W, so they both have to have 1 swoop. F matches up with X, they both have to have 2 swoops. And then G and Y both have 3 swoops. And now we want to match up the sides as well. So see how E and F are the first and second letters. So that side, let's put just 1 tick mark on that side, EF. And that means over here, W and X are the first and second letter. So WX also has to have 1 tick mark. Now FG, the second and third letters, right? F and G, they should have 2 tick marks. And that's going to line up with X and Y, right? Do we see what we're doing without, I'll draw it actually. So FG, see how that's that position, the last 2 letters? So that matches up with X, Y. So that's why they both have 2 tick marks. Just like E and F and WX were the first letters. Now there's one more side. We have E, G, so the first and third. So E and G are going to have 3 tick marks along with W and Y. They're going to have 3 right here. And now we've marked it up. So just make sure the swoops match up, the tick marks match up, and you do that by the order of the letters. So go ahead and pause the video, try number 6, and let's see how we do. All right, for number 6, we're going to start with EDC, this triangle. So E is 1, D has 2, C has 3, L is going to have 1, N is going to have 2, M is going to have 3. Again, I'm just going to go in order of the letters, go 1 swoop, 2 swoop, 3 swoop. And now for the sides, I'm going to do ED, just the first 2 letters. It's going to have 1 tick mark. LN is going to have 1 tick mark. DC is going to have 2. Okay. Last 2 letters. NM is going to have a 2. The last 2 letters. And then EC is going to have 3. And then LM is going to have 3. Now, if you need more explanation for this, just come on over and ask. Otherwise, you're going to go ahead and do the practice with your group, and you guys are going to put it up on the TV screens as a group. So if you have any questions on this practice, let me know. There's 18 questions. But otherwise, I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.